Cool but cynical. Maxed out never minimal. That's how we function. Cold when it's critical. Cool but cynical. Maxed out never minimal. That's how we function. Cold when it's critical. Cool but cynical. Maxed out never minimal. That's how we function. Cold when it's critical. Cool but cynical. Maxed out never minimal. That's how we function. Cold when it's critical. Cool but cynical. Maxed out never minimal. That's how we function. Welcome to London, yo. That's how we function. That's how we function. Nobody don't trust nobody. Welcome to London, yeah. That's how we function. That's how we function. Nobody don't trust nobody right here.
What the fuck do you mean next week? Are you alright? Come here.
Knife.
Welcome to London, you mug.
I guess I put him a little close to you. This is going to be labeled as, a drill of the month. But we got to talk about the difference between a drill and simulation. So a drill is you're testing like a mechanical skill. Drawing your gun out of the holster. You do it over and over and over. That's a drill. In reality, you don't stand in front of somebody and draw your gun in and out of your holster. You're not walking around all day practicing that. A simulation sets up like a scenario more like reality. So once you've already learned your fundamentals, you can now move on to something that kind of surprises you when the timer goes off.
Right. And so as Kevin said, we don't know when a situation is going to pop off. We could always say, hey, I'm going to do this in this situation, or if this happens, I'm going to run, tuck and roll. But in reality, we just don't know. And that's why it's always important that way you run drills. That way you at least build some sort of a fundamental muscle memory. Because when the time comes, those split seconds matter.
Yeah, because people talk about like, when adrenaline pumps, you're not going to be able to hit this button or do this thing. It's because you haven't trained it to be a reflex. Once it's a reflex, that's what your body does. When somebody comes around the corner and says, boo, you jump, because that's your reflex. So you need to switch it to when there's a knife or a gun or something. Your reflex is, boom, down goes the threat. Yep. So this is the London drill. So we have a machete and some USPSA papers. You could set up 100 of these, you could set up 2 of them. However many you have, whatever you're capable of. Certain ranges will let you do certain things. Ideally, you want to have your own property so you can actually train without the handicap of a range. But we just have a little hole in the right side of each target. Machete on a string. There we go. This is the guy with the knife. That's the guy you're worried about. This is Bob. This is John. They're just dudes chilling, right? You don't want to shoot these. So the way the setup is going to work is somebody's going to stand here, looking forward, ears completely plugged so you can't hear anything, like better than earplugs. And then the other person will arrange these targets in any kind of manner so that when the timer goes off or you yell knife, whatever, you're going to turn around, assess the situation, find the threat, and take him out. So again, this is a simulation. We don't know where these are at, different than a drill.
Knife! Well, I was worried about the camera glare.
Knife!
Shit.
Fuck! Okay, I intentionally misled you. What just happened was the white soccer mom who freaks out about everything yelled something, and now you're holding a gun in public.
Yep.
See, I had to mislead you to get that to work.
Damn. That was good.
Yeah. But my thought on that was like, yeah, that's a drill versus simulation thing.
Yep.
Because when you're in the drill head, you're like, oh, I'm on the range, I'm shooting. But we're training for CCW. It's concealed. Which honestly, I probably drew early last time too.
Yeah.
But
I 100% drew on the rotate.
Not too complicated, really. It's kind of, you're gonna need 2 people for this, obviously, at least. But it's kind of fun to just set these up in a way to mess with people as much as possible. As long as you're like making sure your shots are in a safe direction, which if you're at like a nice range, you'll be fine. But yeah, something that simulates reality, albeit, it's cardboard, a machete, and a piece of string, but it simulates it more than just standing there doing the same bill drill over and over and over and over or whatever.
Yeah. The point of this isn't to make these people look as realistic as possible. It's to get your mind moving. It's to make you think, oh, this is over here. What's my surrounding area look like? If you notice in one of the film rules, I shoot from the side, right? Because in the moment at this time, I think I have to get away from this target. I have to put it down. But for my own reflection, I ignored everything that could have been over here possibly. So if you're in an urban situation, you have to remember where are these rounds going to be going? If it's a crowd, if it's a party, what's happening, right?
Yeah, it's like, it's funny, we accidentally made a reactive target when your foot kicked it. But, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go an extra step further, you could put staple t-shirts on these or something. At these kind of ranges, this is fine. You don't have to be, center punching everything. Another thing about this drill is, I'm concealed carry, so I'm coming from my concealed carry holster. If your job, like you're wearing a duty belt around or something, if you're law enforcement, whatever, then you should probably do it with the duty belt. If you carry a rifle, do it with the rifle. I mean, that applies to like 3 people. But yeah, for primarily it'll be CCW.
Yeah, train to reality what your actual situation would be, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to be concealed carrying, I'm not going to be shooting this drill like this. If I'm going to be in a rural open carry situation where that's what I do primarily in the urban, or whatever. If I primarily carry more in a rural setting, maybe open carry, right? But make it to the situation that you're going to find yourself in the most often.
Yeah, and the most important thing with all the drills, simulations, whatever you want to call them, anything shooting on the range, don't game it. If I carry a mag in the pocket, don't sneak it up so it's hanging out there and it's easy to grab. If you're walking around all day, that mag's going to sink down. You're not perfectly adjusting your holster all the time. You put your holster in when you get to the range and keep it there. The way it moves is the way it moves, because you can't be going around in public going, just get this adjusted right, So who cares about the time? Who cares about the points? Don't game it.
Yeah, and this is a great drill to find out if your gear is the right gear for you.
Yeah.
So in this situation here, I'm wearing the mag holders that I messed that up.
Eagle Industries. Probably,
yeah, Eagle Industries. Yeah. And I'll tell you, these are great for steel mags. They're not great for polymer. So I'm probably going to have to readjust with what I carry with what gun I'm using. So make sure that what you use or what you have is right for the job you need.
Yeah, and even when it comes to the gear testing, you might do it at home, in the basement, whatever. But when you're out on the range under a little bit of stress, that's when you really start to test it. But whatever you do, however you can set things up, go shoot some kind of drill, get some kind of practice. And again, like we hit on the Minuteman video, concealed carry is the most important thing. 90% of your training, make it all concealed carry.
Welcome to London, you mug.